You only fail because you've stopped trying, and this is living proof of it right here. Because I was done. I had been through 2 bad marriages. I had been through horrible, freaky relations, like bad. Like
freaky.
When I told my mom,
elaborate, freaky. No, I'm kidding.
No, what I mean is like the level of the psychotic, unhealthy on both ends, like the fighting, the yelling, the bicker, like bad, like. Don't even know why you're there. You want to choke this person like that. And I don't know why I'm standing here, right?
Like I'm 3 minutes away from doing it at all times.
Like, and I don't understand that. This is clearly toxic, but I'll see you tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Can we go to bed now?
Right. Like
Netflix and chill. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Talk Hard Podcast, where we like to talk hard about everything imaginable known to mankind. We are live from New York City again.
No,
we're not in New York
City.
We're
not in New York City. I will never.
We are live from Indianapolis, Indiana again.
Dang.
I thought.
What happened to London?
We never made it to London, did we?
I want a cool accent, so we got to stay there for like, I don't know, however long it takes.
They said, but I'll bite your... Never mind. Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. We have an amazing show. We have an amazing guest. We have the notorious. You guys have heard about her. You guys have heard about her. He's talked about her. He has put her up on such a pedestal. Not necessarily, though. Not necessarily. He's put his relationship on a pedestal. Well, today, guys, we're going to get the down and dirty of what the relationship between Brian and Jeannie really is, because I think there's a lot of skeletons in those closets. That's my opinion, and I'm going to ask some really serious questions, and I'm going to get down and dirty. What's really going on in this mythical, lovely relationship that we get to hear about so much?
I just want to disclose that this did not cost me a lot of money.
Not yet. Until the show's over. I promise you ever heard of... I want half, Eddie. I want half.
Oh my gosh.
That's called a divorce. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. Anyway. Welcome to the show, Jenny. Welcome.
Thanks.
Glad you're here. Excited
Yes.
that you're here.
Happy to be here.
She does exist, ladies and gentlemen. She does exist.
I promise you, this is not just some lady he picked up on the street corner. Jesus.
If you were to think about
I'm an idiot.
if you were to think about the new age version of the street corner, it was on Tinder.
Oh, so yes,
That is true.
let's get down to that too, because seriously, the followers and subscribers of the show have been here. We've heard a lot about your relationship.
Yep.
We have heard great things about your relationship. I'm hoping to find some dirt, but maybe there is none.
Good luck.
Brian says he's an open book and it doesn't matter, but no, we have. I'm sure I'm not alone here. We are jealous. A lot of us out here who have been in relationships are in relationships, and we struggle. A lot of us struggle. We most of us don't make it. I live by this theory that I have felt it 100% of every relationship I've ever been in. So, and then I see Brian, and then he talks about his lovely wife Jenny, and then he is
But we have both failed at all of our relationships up until now, too.
So
See, this is my whole entire point. Like, you only fail when you stop trying. So clearly, this is living proof. Because as much as I was ready to quit, this wasn't like on purpose. Like, she had never been on Tinder. Why don't you kind of like explain how
Let's talk about that, because I have one. I'm jealous for one thing. I've never used Tinder. Never once. And I hear about it, after I get in a relationship, how wonderful Tinder is. I've never used it.
It depends on its purpose, so it can be wonderful for multiple
Right.
purposes. Yeah.
Well, this is the dark side of me saying it's wonderful, right?
definitely.
Right? So that's where it started. How did that happen? First off, what brought... I have a negative connotation of what Tinder is. It's like it's an
I did
app,
too.
right? It's an app made for banging.
Netflix
Right.
and chill.
Right.
Yes.
It's an app made for banging.
Yep.
Right.
What would bring you on Tinder?
Well, I blame it on my sister.
Yes.
Yes.
I had
okay.
been single for a long time.
The evil sister.
No.
No? Okay, just checking. Just checking.
It's debatable. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Go ahead, Jenny.
I had been single for a while. My sister's like, you got to just meet some people, have somebody buy you dinner. I'm like, that'll just be something else. And I don't want to deal with that.
Like it's time to get out of your slippers.
Yeah.
Is this what was going on? Is this? I see this scenario in my head. You're
Stop
in your
wearing
slippers.
that moo-moo all the time.
You got your moo on. You got cigarette burns, Budweiser in your hand.
Yeah.
Smoking
She's
a
like,
Winston.
"It's enough." That is enough.
The trailer was getting kind of smoky.
All right. So she talked you into.
She's like, get on Tinder. You know, I've been on dates on there, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't hear anything good about it. So I'm like, all right. I just put pictures on there, and I didn't write anything. No, just
what kind of
like,
pictures?
No,
Just like normal pictures,
Okay.
just like
Pictures of you and your dog and you and your moo moo.
No, I had just been out of town with a good friend of mine, so
Yeah.
they were like some recent pictures.
Okay.
We were all dressed up at a birthday party, so I was like, I'll just use a couple of those pictures. I didn't write anything about myself, nothing, because I'm like, I'm not really into this.
All right. Sister coerced you.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Sister is obviously, what do you call it when somebody uses something often?
matchmaker.
Or somebody who's a frequent flyer on Tinder, is she? I'll try to find some dirt
get
so
me in
bad.
trouble.
I know. What's your sister's name?
Carrie.
Carrie, I'm sorry. I don't know yet. I'm just being a silly goober as always. Anyway, go ahead.
I mean, you're not lying, but I'm just kidding, Carrie. I love you too.
Hey, if you can't laugh about it, then you probably need to
Okay,
call your
so-
therapist.
Carrie gets you on this, and the Tinder. It'd only been like 1 or 2 days, right? Like you'd been on Tinder for
Yeah.
like the day or maybe 2 days.
So, you being a frequent flyer of Tinder.
I find a severe entertainment value with Tinder.
Come on, bro.
No.
I mean, yeah, banging.
No, here's the thing. You know how I learned what I didn't know what Netflix and chill meant. This is when my age started to show. Before I met her, somebody
What does that? Is that like smoke weed?
I
Chill?
met a girl and she was like, "Why don't you come over to Netflix and chill?" And I'm like, "Cool." So I get over there and I'm like, "Where's the movie?"
Like, you don't even have
I
Netflix, do
sit
you?
down and I'm turning on her TV, getting to Netflix, and she's getting mad at me.
She's like, I haven't even paid for my Netflix account, you stupid son
She's
of a...
like getting mad. I don't understand what's going on. So I'm like, "What do you want to watch?" And we're watching a movie. It gets over, and I'm like, "All right, thanks. That was fun."
We chilled.
And she was like, "Is something wrong with me?" And I was like, "Clearly, no, I don't know what's wrong." And she was like, "Did you not get my message? Like Netflix and chill?" And I'm like, "Yep." And that's what we just did. So I'm a little confused. And
Chris,
she just shook her head. Like,
Chris, you're a Netflix and chiller, correct?
used to be. In his
He's a
current,
married
he's
man
in his
now.
current relationship.
He's
yeah.
a married
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
But even Chris, what my point to that is, even Chris knows.
I literally had no clue. It was the most weird, awkward encounter because I'm not like, and she can vouch for this. Like, I'm not like the type. I'm not all over you. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
It's not me. Like, I'm too old for this crap. That was my 20s. So I literally was like, cool, somewhere else to chill. Because at the time I was living at my brother's house, and I was like, get the hell out of here. I'm gonna chill somewhere else. Like, cool.
All right.
So, yeah,
So
anyways.
fast forward into you and you're embarking on the Tinder.
Yeah. So I'm back on it and was goofing off and ran across her picture, and I was like, okay. So I swiped right, and it matched.
Well, okay.
You have to swipe right or left.
imagine everybody
Left is
knows.
decline, right is match. Right?
So
I
you
think that's-
swipe a direction.
Yes.
And that means that you like said person.
Right.
And you said match. Does that mean that person likes you too?
If you
Right.
both swipe right, then it says you two have matched. And it like shakes the pictures and does something fun, and then you can talk to each other at that point. You can't talk unless you match.
Okay.
You can't send a message to someone unless you match with them.
Okay,
Otherwise, it
gotcha.
would just basically be Facebook on steroids.
Gotcha.
So,
So, all right. So did it concern you she hadn't wrote anything about herself or just some pictures?
no, I just did the typical stupid thing that I could think of at the time, and her name was Jenny. So I just felt like Forrest Gump, like "Hi, Jenny," kind of a stupid thing. Like I didn't know what the hell to say.
I love it.
And I wasn't sure if she was real, right?
Jenny.
Because I'm like, this is another bot. Usually the bots don't say much or they say way too much. So I'm like, this is another bot, whatever. But then she responded, and we got to chatting.
Let me ask you. Was this like 3 a.m. type stuff or
No,
what?
it was probably like 7 or 8 at night. I was
Yeah.
watching the dogs at my brother's house.
I think I had just gotten off work.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So at that point, you guys decide to meet up. First time. Take me through that. First time you guys. Well.
Well, we talked.
What made you feel secure about meeting with this cat who had a face tattoo? For
She
God's
wasn't.
sakes?
I had to meet at her salon
Yeah,
the first time.
I had him come to work.
I mean, he's got a face tattoo. For God's sakes.
No, I had him come to work he asked for a haircut.
Yeah, I said I need a haircut.
And I was like, I do those.
Smooth.
So come to work because I'd rather meet him with like people I know around.
Sure.
Just
Sure,
in case
look
he
at
is a
him.
psycho.
at him.
Other heavily armed, bitter women.
With all of our scissors around, weapons.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
All right. So he tells us about this. He tells us about this encounter often. You guys' first date.
Yeah.
How did that go? What's your perspective on that? Because He says it's magical and he's just wonderful. And you guys fell deeply in love for the first time.
day.
First time you guys had a conversation.
Yeah, made wedding plans.
Yeah, for sure. So, what was
it.
your perspective on it? Because I think it's BS.
No, it was actually really refreshing. I've never been on a date with someone or met someone and they said everything about them that they thought was undesirable.
I'm gonna touch on one point because this is the point that I'm in recovery. Of course, I've been in recovery for quite a while, and that's always a touchy situation. I guess breaking the ice to somebody who's not in recovery.
But wasn't that on your Tinder? Didn't that say something about being in recovery?
Yeah, because that's how I found recovery. That's the only reason
Yeah.
why I still kept going on it was because when I got here, I had opened Tinder board and was like, cool, I'll meet some girls, whatever. And I kept seeing people saying in recovery. So I put it in mine.
All right.
Yeah.
And that's how I found Fairbanks, started going to meetings. Like that's how that whole thing started before I met her. And so it was still on there. And so she was like aware of it, maybe not the depths of it. Recovery can mean a lot of different things.
Right. So how'd that go about? How'd you break the ice on that? And how'd that make you feel? Like, did you feel like you had to dance on eggshells for this guy?
No, not at all. It actually made me feel a lot more comfortable and that I could open up and tell him things that I thought about myself that would be undesirable and he wouldn't judge me for that.
Can I get some of those?
No.
Well, Brian, tell me some of your.
I don't think there was anything.
When we got into that, she would just like, I kind of get it.
Like,
she
we
had a
all have our
situation with
shit.
an ex, and that person had, an addiction problem as well.
He's
He's an addict, and so hadn't been getting help, right? Okay. And so she saw that side of the fence, and so it was like she's like, so I have some experience with this, and let's just see where this goes, kind of a thing. Like if we just we shut the restaurant down, like they were basically like, you guys need to go.
So, first date. And I know we talked about it before, but how did you lay it out there? What was your plan of attack?
I just said, look, I'm an addict.
Okay.
I'm just past a year in recovery. I can definitely be an asshole. I will push you away. I love to self-sabotage. I've got massive trust issues, but I'll buy you dinner. And if I ever get to the point where I love you, no one will ever love you as much as I do.
So
I ended it on a positive. But
So
I vomited and then I cleaned it up a little bit.
That sounds exciting.
I was going to say, yeah, trust issues and addict. Hey, this sounds wonderful. Let me sign up.
Well, here's the thing. If I'm honest about all of that, why would I lie about that part?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it lays the foundation for the truth when you start with, I believe in starting with just brutal reality. And that way, like I've always wanted someone to do that for me. Ultimately, that's what I wanted. So I was like, you know what? This time I'm going to give that to someone. I'm going to see how it works because I've met a lot of other women that up front was like, oh, it's all peaches and cream. And then they're psycho. Sorry. It's just the way it's worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, sorry to all my exes, but the 90% of you have a lot of issues that you need to see therapy for.
Well, your exes, all your relationships end well? Because if they're watching, they probably need therapy anyway.
Yes, definitely.
So, all right, then first night went great then.
Yeah.
We just talking. Like I don't even remember eating the food. Like I think half my steak, which is not normal for me, was still there because we were just back and forth.
It was
caring
a good
about
conversation.
a kid. Yeah, it just was like.
And I thought actually after that first dinner, I'm like, if nothing happens here, like I think he'd be a great friend. Like we have good conversation, we can get along really well.
Can you do a puking noise for me, Chris? It's disgusting. He missed the right.
That was actually the right one.
What
by the
one
way.
was that? Do it again. Do
That
it
was
again.
a drum beat.
Oh,
I love
boy.
it.
Oh. Blech. Anyway, so great friend. So you walking away from that meal, that's how you felt.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Like I implore people to just try it, and this is my stance on it after this. And again, we go back to this whole thing of like you only fail because you stopped trying, and this is living proof of it right here. Because I was done. I had been through 2 bad marriages. I had been through horrible, freaky relations, like bad. Like
Freaky.
when I told my mom,
elaborate, freaky. No, I'm kidding.
No, what I mean is like the level of the psychotic, unhealthy on both ends, like the fighting, the yelling, the bicker, like bad, like don't even know why you're there. You want to choke this person like that. And I don't know why I'm standing here, right?
Like I'm 3 minutes away from doing it at all times.
Like, and I don't understand that. This is clearly toxic, but I'll see you tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Can we go to bed now?
Right. Like
Netflix and chill.
So I'm just like, I need to give something. If you want something, you got to give it first.
Honesty.
So I just gave it to her. Like, this is who I am.
Like you're going into that with like really, you got nothing to lose.
Right.
You know, she's great. She seems great, but you know what? F it. If she doesn't like the real me,
right,
then so be it.
We had a great dinner. Either way, she's gonna find out, right? Like, you can't hide from it. It was on the Tinder. It's all over the Facebook. Like, I was very loud about it.
Yeah.
So there is no hiding it.
Yeah.
So what's the point? Like, I'm a Gemini and I'm a salesman and I'm charismatic, so I can make you believe that I am just a step below the man above. Like
oh yeah,
I think Pisces can do that too.
You know, like I have that gift of gab, and it's always worked for me. But then I get it back, and then it goes bad, and I'm like, "What happened?" Well, duh. No, it's easy to love easy. It's hard to love hard, and so I was like, "Here is the hard version of me," hoping that I would get the same thing in return, and it's what I got.
So, did he lay anything out there that you thought was like oh God?
Well, like he had said, I've had relationships before that the other person has been an addict, but it's never been of all the drugs. You know, like
he's like, I'm a dumpster, and I'm just a walking dumpster.
Well, because she did ask, and I'm like, honestly, I don't know of a drug I haven't done.
Right.
And like, I was like, oh gosh, like I don't have really any experience with drugs.
Right.
Like that wasn't ever, I wasn't exposed to it. You know, it wasn't anything that in my friend groups did. Like weed, of course, but you know.
She'd have met me 5 years ago. 10 years ago, I guess now. I guess 5 years. I'm still sober at that point now. But 10 years ago, like, I just shown you everything.
Oh, I think that's recovery too. It's like and like most people who actually work a real program and get themselves and change their lives and change their perspectives and change their purpose. We talk about purpose a lot. It's people that actually do the work that is necessary to change your stars. We are a complete 180 from who we used to be. Mm-hmm. Like no one, the people that knew me back then, like one, they still hate me or they're just amazed. Like I, you know, and I even look back at pictures. My daughter sent me a picture the other day and I was just like, oh my God. Like you just look different. You feel different. You people hate you for good reasons, you know. At least now when people hate me, they don't have good reasons. You know?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I mean, it was like that, you know, acceptance, right? Like acceptance is the first part.
Yeah.
And in order to be accepting of yourself, you have to find someone that will accept you for the way that you are.
So let's talk about that. Like, you guys, obviously, like, his addiction has nothing to do with the fact that he was a dumpster fire and he did a lot of drugs, right? It had to do with his character defects and the person that, you know, I'm sure he was, what, a year sober when you met her?
It just passed a year sober.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I guarantee you.
It's like a year and a month.
He still had a lot of character defects that he hadn't worked on yet.
I mean, we had some rough times.
It was rough.
Explain to me talk to me about, like, how some of the early days was dealing with him.
One night we were sleeping and you just like, I gotta get up. I gotta get out of here. And I was like, oh, okay, what is happening right now? So I'm like, should I go see what's wrong? Like, I'm not sure. And he was like sitting in the living room in complete darkness, like just kind of like just sitting like this. I'm like, what is happening? Like, what just happened?
So in my head, hold on, but I'm gonna tell you guys what happened. I heard voices. Like, I heard her talking to someone and not realizing that she's laying next to me. I heard her talking to someone in the living room and was like, here we go. Because I've been in that. So my trauma creeped up because I'm starting to now have feelings for this girl. My trauma creeps up and goes, no, you're not getting this one today, son. So I panicked and shut down.
I'm going to do what I do.
I'm going
to ruin.
I'm going to shut down and I'm going to push. I'm going to push.
And he was going to leave. And I was like, no, stop. Like,
hey, crazy. There's nobody else in his house.
Right.
Was he looking through the closets and shit?
No.
I'd say I was high when I woke up. I was sober when this happened.
I woke up on meth.
You know, you're in a strange environment and you have trust issues. And so I just had like a bad dream or something that I felt like I was in a real situation, and I panicked like this girl's gonna hurt me for sure. Here I've met a woman older than me.
No, now listen.
Whoa. I think he's sleeping on the couch tonight.
No,
She's 6 months older than me, and I'll never let it go.
Not even 6 months. It's not 6 months.
So, like, it's like here I have this woman that, like, she's got her own house, she's raised a kid properly, she's built a business, and she's successful. Like, what do I have to offer her? At the time, I'm barely pushing 30 grand a year on a good day, and I'm driving a beat up old car. And here I've got somebody that has their life together and has been through arguably just as much as I have.
And so I'm questioning. You've probably never been with a woman with any kind of, just from my personal experience, I'd never been with a woman who had it together.
No, I was always the one that was supporting things or doing things or working my face off while they went out and partied and hung out with their friends and what. Like, that was always me. So that was already a new experience.
And you're feeling insecure about it.
I'm beyond insecure about it. Like, at that point, she was making 4 or 5 times more than me. Financially, it was an insecurity. Not to mention, you talk about the way that she, like, because that night we talked about her first marriage and the situation and her son and all these things. And I'm like, damn, like, and this is how you turned out?
I'm assuming there was several of these insecure moments, like dealing with that. How did that make you feel? I mean, how did you deal with? Is there any other instances that you have on your mind that we could talk about? Because I would I want to know. I want to know this BS is BS.
No, it's just kind of that thing, and I know that I'm not going to cheat on him.
Right.
Like, I know that he's safe with me. So as long as it took for him to feel that he's safe with me, because I knew that he was worth it, I'm like, I'm in this. Like, don't leave. Like, we can get through this because I know I'm not going to hurt you.
How did you say? Because you know he's worth it.
Yeah.
What indication did you have of that?
You know him.
I do. But people don't. You know, like, what indication did you have? Because he's basically just told you he's a dumpster, and he's this and he's that, and he's insecure, and he has trust issues, and has obviously a little bit of low self-esteem. He's an early recovery. He's got all these character defects. What made you see something in him that he obviously couldn't see in himself?
It's actually a good question.
She might not even have an answer for that.
This one now.
She might not even have an answer for that.
No,
Speak closely into the mic. I want to record. This is recording. Go ahead.
What? I'll tell you later. Let's cut.
No. Bring it out. Let's go.
On Tinder, he had said something about his parents and how, you know, they got married after 18 days of knowing each other, and they're still in love, and like, what a success, and he looks up to that, and I'm like, that is so sweet. And then after knowing him for a while and seeing how he does treat his parents and his family and how he treated me, I was like, this guy is not a piece of shit, you know, like, he may think he is, but I don't see that.
Not a bad person, made a lot of bad decisions.
Well,
which is pretty typical of an addict.
Well, they say that, right? That's what they say. You're not a bad guy or a bad woman. You just made some bad choices. Well, not everybody.
Well, this is true. But I want to say for a fair majority of them, for me, it was like, I know I'm a good guy. I'm faithful. I'm willing to do anything. I'm not the type to be like, no, you can't do that. No, I own you. And no, like, it's like, live your life. I just want to be part of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's always been me. That's not something I ever had to change. But with her, I felt like every time I would do that for someone else, it was like, now you owe me.
Yeah.
And with her, it was like, no, I just want to be part of this.
You guys, I thought I was going to come on this show and
keep trying.
All right. So, Jesus, I really don't have anything. I'm sick of this. This makes me sick. I want to puke.
I'm sorry.
No, it seems like the stars aligned for you all, and you guys were in the right space, the right time, and found the right two people that's willing to. It's been through, and I think that's important too. Like, when I was dating out there, I had a requisite. It's like, if you haven't been through this, if you haven't shot up with toilet water and sold your body, then I don't want anything to do with you.
I think, you know, and I don't want to speak for her, but I think that was it. Like, I think that if her ex would have just been like, I got a problem, that probably would have shifted their relationship because that's all she wants. She just wants the truth. That's
because it was always I was blindsided by it. Like I had no idea, and it, you know, like a relationship for 2 years before I found out anything was happening, you know, and it's just like you feel like you're lied to, but he was upfront with it, like right from the get-go, you know, like this is it. I'm like, oh, that's so refreshing.
Well, what about now? Like today, what characteristics like of the addict, say of your past relationship, like the lying, the cheating, and I don't know about cheating, but the lying and about his addiction and the characteristics that come with addiction, you know, the irritable, restless, discontent, trust issues, low self-esteem. Oh, what kind of characteristics do you guys see today? And if you have any, which I would love to have on the show, if you have any, like how do you guys deal with them as a couple? You know, as a couple, I'm gonna say as a couple in recovery because you know it's not just him now. It's you guys. For sure. You know, so first off, give us some dirt on some characteristics he still shows you, and then how do you guys work through it?
So I guess most recently would be just working too much, and then it puts him in a bad mood. So, you know, it'll be like a few days of him just being like short fused, and I'm like, am I being overly irritating? Like, am I doing something? And then I'll be like, do you think that maybe you are having this bad attitude or being this grouchy or such a short fuse with me because you're working too much? You know, like maybe it's not me. Maybe it's you.
But see, here's the thing. That's the difference. That's exactly how she says it. She doesn't say, you know what, you're working too much. And she has every right to because I gave her that right. Like, if I'm ever being so you can call me out and I can't say anything about it. And she still doesn't.
She has a way.
She's like, hey, can we talk for a second? Because I feel like you're being short fused with me. And I just want to know, like, you've been working a lot lately. Do you think maybe that's it? Because right now, like, it feels like me, but I don't know what I'm doing. So what's up?
Yeah, I even said I was not the other day, but like last time we talked about this, I'm like, am I being more irritating than normal? Like,
right. This was like 3 or 4 months ago when I was deep.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. All women are irritating.
Well, yeah.
And I hope you guys don't cancel me for this, but.
I know I'm irritating.
That's a joke. Please take it as a joke. But, oh, crap. What was I going to say?
So here's the thing. Is like, I would say we're going into 3rd year married, right? 19. I'm trying now. This is where I'm bad at math. I'm like, wait a minute. So 4th year together.
Everybody's got their fingers and toes out.
Like 4th year together, and the first 2.5, 3 were not fun. And I don't mean like we traveled and did other things and had fun, but in between those times was, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? Who's that guy?
All right,
what's going on with this?
I think that's
like me being that guy still, and her having to be very patient with me about it.
First off, I think you're a master manipulator, Jenny.
Thank you. I've worked very hard at this.
I think you're very good at how you question and approach Mr. Gordon here, but
well, I know what gets results, you know, like I know how to communicate with him.
That's perfect.
And it was, you know, I had to learn that. Like I've never had a relationship like we have before where we do just kind of like hash it all out and we're going to like talk about it and we're not going to go to bed until it is resolved, or not resolved, but like we both said how we feel so that we can move on. Like, I don't want this fight to last for days. I don't want it to be like previous relationships where like we didn't speak or look at each other for 4 days, you know, like I don't want to live that way. So I've had to learn how to speak to him in a way that he feels respected and that he feels heard. And he treats me the same way.
She's very non-confrontational, and I'll argue with the fence post.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's awesome, really, because that's all men really want from you know, from a male, female. I don't know the female perspective in a lot of cases, but that's men. That's what we want. We want to feel, first off, respected, right? Like you value what is going on with this, and you value our opinion on things, and you value how we think things should be done. Even if you don't, manipulate us to make us think that you do, and you're going to have a better life. It's just
she doesn't do the finger pointing and the scorekeeping.
Well, tick for tat. That is, you know,
she doesn't do that. It's like, this is what's really going on. This is how I feel. What do you want to say about it? Not what are you going to do about it? What do you want to say about it? Mm-hmm. It's how we communicate. And I think that comes from many years of her having, I would say, lack of communication in other relationships, you know, and her being non-confrontational to now I'm the type where I'm like, no, we're going to get this over with because I love you and nothing's going to happen. Let's just get into it and let's move on. So let's sit here until it's over and say whatever you need to say and do whatever you need to do. Let's try to keep the name calling to a minimum.
And it didn't start out this way. Like, you know, we didn't start out being able to communicate like this. Like, this is, you know, we've had to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
So I think that's what, you know, what I want to know, and I want people to know too, is like you guys been at it for almost 3 years, correct? For almost 3 years, and 2.5 of it was not all rainbows and butterflies and all that, right? So that's the basis of it. You two found each other, you two loved each other, and you two were willing to commit to one another to the point where, like, no matter what happens, because we're not ignorant and we know things are going to happen in our lives, and we know that it's going to have tragedy and ups and downs and ebbs and flows, that no matter what it is, we're going to communicate and we're going to get through this. And I think that's
love.
That's what it's about, right?
That's actual love right there. Because it's not like, yeah, when I'm all happy and not working very much and everything's hunky dory, we're just doing what everybody's happy and it's fun to love. Like it's like loving a koala bear. Like it's super
easy to do, right?
Then the claws come out and the bear gets hungry. And now things have changed. Now do you love me or do you want to shoot me?
Koala bear.
Most of the time she wants to shoot me, and that's
now I'm
fair.
Just
It's been like, I think it's...
Wait a minute, so you're the koala bear?
We don't talk at each other, we talk to each other. And that's the difference. You have to have the patience to understand, like, I'm fighting with you because I love you. And I know that you'd hear that from your parents, you're like, what the hell does that mean? It's because I have so much emotion inside of me that it's making me feel this way. If I didn't give a shit about you, we wouldn't be having this kind of an argument because I'd just be like, shut up.
And
get over it.
Even the first time you said that to me, I was like, please.
Yeah.
That is not true.
I get it too.
That is not true at all.
Yeah.
But now I get it. That's how he communicates. Like, that's him.
All right.
So
I think a lot of us addicts and alcoholics are, when we get into recovery and we start changing our life, that we get extremely passionate, if you want to call it that. We get extremely passionate about certain things, and we're going to be loud about that, and we're going to be open about that. And, you know, in our relationships, it's either going to go one or two ways. It's either going to go passionate, and we're going to fix this, and we're going to be committed, and we're going to do, or, you know what, F you and run. You know, it's like, I'm going to be passionate, but we're going to be screaming and yelling and calling names. That's how passionate I'm going to be.
Yeah, I don't want that.
No,
I don't want that.
And I think a lot of us growing up in maybe, I mean, for me, I'll just speak on me, I guess, growing up in environments and, you know, seeing my parents' relationships, and just that was the normal, you know.
Right.
My mom and my dad loved each other so much that they screamed and yelled and broke in the house, and, you know, and that's what I knew what love was. Like, I knew they cared about each other. And that's not normal, you know, and it takes a while to break that cycle within yourself, you know, and find out what's healthy and what's unhealthy, I guess, especially in relationships.
Well, she's a fixer by nature. She's a mother, for starters, so I think that just automatically, and like, her son is her life.
Yeah. He's
you know,
amazing.
like he is.
So she's an enabler.
No.
No, she's a natural supporter, and she's a natural supporter and wants to fix. And so in the beginning of our fights, she'd be like, "What can I do to fix this?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I don't want you to fix anything."
And then I'm like, I don't understand.
So you're dealing with character defects as well, right?
What, I'm not perfect?
That's not for me to say, Brian.
Okay, dude, our couch is not
quit.
that comfortable. No, it's and that's what I mean. It was like we got into it about that. She's like it was like, then the whole argument turned into like, what do you mean about that? And I'm like, I just need a space where I can be this right now. Mm-hmm. And feel safe.
Love it.
I know who I'm being. I don't expect you to put up with it, because I'm not trying to do this to you. I'm just in this space, and I don't know how to get out of it right now, because this is the character defect of an addict.
So then I'm like, what do I do?
Right.
I gotta fix it.
And then he was like, stop.
Get away from me. That's what you do.
Like, do you need a hug? Do you want me to hug you?
If you hug me, I might explode.
She was just like, what can I do to fix it? And I'm just like, nothing. Like, that's not the point. She's like, what do you mean? Like, that's not so we've learned that side of it, and now it's a lot different, where it's not like she's not always trying to fix it. It's like, okay, what do you need to talk about? Like, what do we need to get into, and let's get past this, because she now knows, because it's a different relationship, and you know, she comes from less communication and a different version of love. Because I don't want to say her exes didn't love her; they just loved her differently. Yeah. Mine is like the addict, hard. I love you all the way, or I don't care about you at all.
Yeah.
And so that side of me was like, rawr. And she's like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? Like, hold on, dude. And so learning that with each other has probably been the best thing for us. So coming from somebody as an addict to somebody that we call normies, be patient.
Well, allow that space too. I think when you said that,
it's a safe space.
I think that's important because, you know, I'm going to go through what I go through. Like, I don't know why I get irritable sometimes and restless and discontent. I don't know why, but I wake up that way and I'll get that way 10 times a day. And when I am that way, just give me 5, give me 10. Don't try to fix me. Don't try to hug me. Don't try to ask me. I hate when you ask me what's wrong. Jesus, I hate that. Don't. I don't really know what's wrong. I just know I'm irritable right now, and I'm about to break the.
Marty just needs to answer with something. Something is wrong. That's what's wrong. Something.
Something is wrong right now.
I haven't figured out what that something is yet, but just say something from now on.
And then, you know, at the end of it all, though, if you give me a few minutes, I'm gonna be like, okay, I was just an. All right. Now I got to go do what I do and go back in the other room and say, look, I was. Sorry, Chris. He's over there. He's wearing the ink out of that pen.
Jenny is not allowed here anymore because I'm running out of ink.
All right, but you know, and I think that's it. I know nothing about relationships. I look at your guys' relationships, and now I'm glad I got to hear your side, and you know, I'm glad to have you on the show, and I think it's great for a lot of people, and I know a lot of the women watchers out there are gonna love seeing you and love hearing your perspective. But I don't take advice from me on relationships, because I'm the type of guy when somebody comes up to me and they're like, hey, I got a divorce. I'm like, congratulations. That's awesome.
You're free. Let's party.
Yeah. And they're just like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, that's not the right response.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you want a hug?
Well,
what's wrong?
I would like to ask her something in closing. Like, what would...
Oh.
Because I'm in my opinion, full-blown addict in the reality of the like all defects? Or nothing. Like the all or nothing is there, period, no matter what. That's never gonna go away. Figuring out how to channel that was fine, and now that I'm there, I'm fine. But I've always got to watch that, which is what we've gotten into about, where now she understands, like, because we had that conversation. She's like, well, what can I do when you're working too much? And I had to like drop my pride and say, you are fully allowed to call me out, and I can't do anything about it. Because I don't realize I'm doing it. So that was that part. But like, what would you say to somebody that meets somebody else that is dealing with addiction that you feel would help their relationship?
Oh my gosh.
Get a divorce.
Run.
Get a divorce. Oh.
Just run.
Just run.
No, I guess just decide if the person is worth it. After meeting them, you get a feeling about people when you first meet them.
Sure.
You know, like whether you want to invest the time that it will take to make them feel safe and give them the space and just listen. Like a lot of it is just listening and talking through what is going on in their head and seeing why they feel that way. And if it's something that you're doing, like look at that. There was something early on about my phone. I think it was like upside down or something.
Yeah, so all my exes, when they would cheat, they would grab their phones. They'd always keep them face down.
Right.
Oh, God.
So it just happened to be upside down. Like it was no big, like I don't
but
have
then
anything.
she muted her Snapchat, and I was like, okay. I didn't like Snapchat because all my exes used them to like, because they delete everything. So that's like the perfect cheating. That was all I knew of Snapchat, was the cheating method of communication. So she had muted her Snapchat and left her phone face down. And I don't even understand that part. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a phone. They're always annoying. Like, what does that matter?
Because my phone rings all the time with clients and stuff, and I'm like, I don't need like this notification as well. So
let me ask you, Jenny.
Yes.
Jenny.
Yes. Do you want to go through my phone?
Can we see your phone real quick?
Yeah.
Chris, pull it up on the screen. He's already got
Thank
it.
you.
No, like at the beginning of the relationship, was you talking to other guys?
No.
No.
He was the first one I talked to on there. Like, I really wasn't. I didn't want to.
Okay.
You know? Like, I didn't.
So,
and I'm not that type of person. Like, that seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of work. And I had a kid in high school and dealing with that.
Business, doing your thing.
Right.
Very busy with, like, she's in high demand in her business, and like, because she's great at what she does. And so, like, our fights went from I would work too much and we'd get into it, and she had no idea why. So now we're fighting about something, and I'm just telling her, like, I just get like this sometimes. This is just the way it is. To fast forward, I don't know, it was probably like 2 months ago. I had gone through like a good solid 3 weeks of like nonstop. Like, work was insane, and I got to that method, and she called me one morning and was like, hey, I'm feeling disconnected. And instead of puffing up, I just said, let's go to dinner. Let's have a date night. Like, that was my immediate response now versus, well, I'm working. What do you want me to do?
What the
Sometimes
hell
I just
you want
get,
me to do?
like,
Right.
I have to provide, you know, like, I didn't go there. I just responded with,
Defensive.
then we're going to dinner tonight.
Let's go to dinner and have
Like,
a chat.
I'm sorry, let's just go. And now we're at dinner at the same restaurant. I'm crying in the restaurant. It was fun.
Same restaurant?
fun.
Yeah, it
nice,
was.
nice. So I guess we know you asked about, you know, in relationships and first off, getting with somebody who's an addict or, well, even better, somebody in recovery, right? You're getting with somebody, if you're dating an addict, you're an idiot. If you're dating somebody in recovery, it's a different story. But you know, it's the same thing, but different, right? You know, but you see a lot of women in recovery too, and men in recovery. Like, first off, we don't know how to treat other people. We don't know how to treat ourselves. I had to learn this the hard way. Like, you can never love somebody until you learn to love yourself. You can never fully love another human being, not even your children. I'm sorry. People don't get that, but it's true. Not even your family, your children, no one. But I love him. It's all that matters. No, no. Because you don't love yourself, or you wouldn't put yourself in these situations. Right. You wouldn't do this to yourself. You wouldn't, you know, all these other things that people do, especially in addiction. But one of the questions I had is basically, well, not really a question, is, so when you get into dating somebody in recovery, sorry, I'm stuttering all over my words. When you get into dating somebody in recovery, you got to ask your, first off, do not get in dating somebody in recovery if you don't love yourself and you're not strong and you don't have this thing about you. But ask yourself, first off, is he worth it? And second off, or he or she. And second off, am I willing to put in the amount of time and patience and communication that it's going to require to date somebody in addiction, in recovery?
Right.
You know, because that's got to be difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because if you're, it's got to be. Because we're going through all kinds of phases, you know. We're not.
But it wasn't like every day. It wasn't like every day we were going through all of this stuff, because then that would be too much. Then I'd be like, this guy needs to work on himself a little bit more before he starts dating. You know,
Yeah.
Like, he's got some stuff to go through.
You're welcome, Chris. I trained her.
Yeah, you're welcome.
She's been here for 40 minutes. She's better at this than we are.
All my notes are
Anyway, so that's the gist of everything. Thank you, Jenny, for coming, and Brian, thank you for allowing her to come, because I know you're a chauvinist. I know you're a chauvinist
I drove
pig.
here myself, so.
Yeah.
he told you.
This is the pinnacle of
I'm
our
kidding,
relationship
guys.
is I don't tell her what to do. She doesn't tell me what to do.
Amen.
Period.
Amen.
If she wants to do something, we can talk about it if I feel uncomfortable with it, but I'm not telling her no. I'm saying, this makes me feel a certain way. Can we talk about it?
Yeah.
It's not no. You do what you want to do because you're a grown adult, and I can't do anything about that. Not, I own you. You're not going to do that because you're my wife. Like, what? You're not my wife. You're a wife, and you just happen to be with me.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it actually is. And so our relationship is based on, like, true support. Mm-hmm. Like, if I'm like, babe, I'm quitting my job today because F these people. She's like, okay.
All right.
I'm going to say okay as a knee-jerk reaction. Then when you get home, we're going to say why.
Yeah, and that's what it'll be. She's like,
Yeah.
okay, if that's what you feel you need to do, let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. Not, oh crap, what are we going to do? Like, there's not this, we don't react anymore. I reacted completely for the first 2 years. Everything was a reaction.
Yeah.
And I learned that I was just torturing her for no reason. Like, just because you think it in your head doesn't make it true.
Absolutely.
That's been the hardest thing for me to learn.
Thoughts are not, your emotions are not facts. That's the way it is.
You can't base your prediction of the future on past experiences.
And we do that so much.
And we all do it.
Yes.
It's like, well, the first however many women cheated on me, she has to. I got to bat 1,000 here. You know what I mean? Like, there's like I don't know a world. This was the weirdest part with me and her is like, I don't even know how that's possible because I've never met a woman like that. So this is just weird to me.
All right, so I'm about to throw up because I didn't get what I wanted out of this show. But, if you guys got relationship questions, please comment below. Brian will answer them. Maybe you need to talk to Jenny. Brian can set that up.
Yep.
We can go through the email, which is...
Which one? Oh, fans@talkhardfans.com.
If you got questions about relationships and you want to ask some people that's been in your situations, go to...
fans@talkhardfans.com. Please, I implore you, relationships were the scariest thing, and I told her this in the beginning. I'm like, I am not going to do this because if this goes bad, I might get high.
And I'm going to tell you that, too. Like, if you guys are in early recovery, like, they tell us, it's suggested. It's suggested to not get in a relationship for, like, the first year or two, right? So, but the thing of it is, we don't know if that works because no one on the planet's ever really did it. So
no, because even a year is rough. Don't get me wrong. Like, it was rough. Like all my character defects were flying off the hinges because the rush of love and emotion that I was like not ready for.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just a fact. It's a dangerous situation. You got somebody else involved now, and you got somebody else's life that you could possibly ruin or mess up, or just all this stuff. So until you love yourself, don't try to love another human being. It's just
be
not
honest.
worth it.
Please be honest. Like, if they're gonna find out eventually if you're gonna do anything other than one night stand.
If you're a turd, just come to the table and say, "Listen, I'm a turd."
Yes, it works.
Right? I'm a turd. You're a turd. Let's be turds together.
She's a turd polisher now, so we're all good.
Hashtag turd polisher, guys. If you like the show, please like and subscribe. Share it over to your friends. Thank you, Jenny, for coming. We love you.